One of the key things is what happens when Prince Naseem Hamed lands what he calls his rocket launchers. Johnson has been on the floor once or twice in recent defences. He's got up to win. If he catches the power of Prince Naseem, what will happen then? Will he get up from that? Will he be able to make his ring craft and skills tell? The early stages of this could be absolutely vital.
Johnson warmed up long and hard in the dressing room. Sure, you can guarantee he was expecting a fast start to this fight.
Naseem, as always, switching from southpaw to orthodox even early on. Sometimes he throws punches and leaves himself a little open because he's so off balance. Will Johnson make him pay for that kind of thing, as Manuel Medina did? And he hits a bit harder than Manuel Medina, does Tom Johnson. Two world champions clashing. Something has to give. Often starts cautiously like this, Prince Naseem, and then suddenly he'll explode into action. He's very, very fast, and the punches come from unusual angles like that left hand. Just for a moment, Johnson was caught by surprise. He's okay.
Well, I don't think Johnson will ever seen punches come in from these types of angles before.
These are not freak punches, though, from Prince Naseem. He works on this. It's a style that's evolved since he was a little boy of 7 when he first wandered into Brendan Ingle's gym in Sheffield. Good body shot that was from Johnson. Get the impression that Prince Naseem himself is just taking a little look, switching stances, going orthodox like now. For a while he's normally a southpaw. In the past, Johnson's had problems with southpaws once or twice.
So you can see there's a great deal of mutual respect. Hamed is having a long look at Johnson as well. He's getting a little untidy there.
Now they build this up close and personal. In the last 48 hours, it's got very personal. Become a bit of an Anglo-American grudge match.
And Johnson didn't like that. Hamed still trying to rattle Johnson.
Prince made to miss. Be sure that Johnson will have watched videos time and time again and will have tried to work out a style to win this. Prince Naseem has been predicting a third round victory tonight, but this second round is one that he's particularly favoured in the past. Any kind of win would be fabulous for him. Never mind getting the prediction of the round right tonight. Doubling up on the jab neatly, Johnson. Good right hand, which was taken well by Johnson.
Johnson not being drawn in too much. Hamed likes to draw his opponents in, make them make mistakes. Johnson being careful, just stabbing out the jab.
Again, the American making Naseem miss. Cat and mouse at the moment. Almost a kind of phony war.
Hamed has to rely on getting his heavy punches on. And Johnson, for the most part, being very evasive.
You can see already that Johnson has worked on a game plan and is beginning to put it into effect. So far, so good for him, because Naseem has not really been able to land with very much too cleanly. Not yet anyway, but that could all change in an instant. There he is, switching again to lead with the left hand this time. That's better from Naseem. Two good left hands from him. First significant work of the round, really, from the WBO champion. Remember, Johnson holds the IBF belt and has done for the best part of 4 years.
Still not a great deal of punches from either men landing correctly.
There was one of the attempted rocket launches. Johnson slipped it cleverly. There's good right hand. That's better from Prince Naseem, and it's got the crowd going. And again he finds the American. There was an attempt there at that corkscrew uppercut, which has dispatched quite a few opponents.
There's a better finish to the round from Hamed, just jumping in and then quickly out. Landing and getting out of range.
Seconds out.
Well, he got the prediction right in his last defence against Remigio Molina, but this is an entirely different class of opponent. Johnson's been in no kind of trouble so far. Bet your bottom dollar that the showman inside Prince Naseem will know this is the round. He'll be thinking about it. Johnson knows about it too. Johnson was saying he's just putting himself under pressure by naming a round. He said, what's the Prince going to be thinking when they say round 4 or round 5?
Well, the two best punches from Johnson so far in the fight. Good right hand, come back with a wide left hook. Both of them landed.
Finds the target, not quite as elusive as he used to be earlier on in his career, for my money, Prince Naseem. Johnson dodging this way and that, giving it plenty of lateral movement. You just wonder if he has the capability somewhere inside to maybe take Naseem to school. Very clever little left-hand counter from Johnson. Has boxed well so far in this round.
I guess there haven't been a great deal of punches landed from either men, but the cleaner shots and more of them have come from Johnson in this round.
Again, Naseem tried the left hook. And he's being frustrated at the moment by this clever craftsman. But he does have the power to turn things around very, very suddenly. He's got him with a left hand. Johnson backed up against the ropes, has to take another right hand this time. He's in a bit of trouble. Then a left. Is Naseem going to fulfill his prediction? Worst moment so far for the American. He wants to stand and trade, which may not be wise. Breakthrough for Naseem, who grins at close range at Johnson. And he's caught him with a right hand again, and Johnson wants to hold on. Combination punching. He's got Johnson going. This is a big round for the Prince. He falls over there. The crowd think it's a knockdown. It isn't. There are 22 seconds left in the round.
But Johnson is unsteady. He's been hurt by punches here. He's trying to slug it out with Hamed, and that could be dangerous.
His legs did a silly dance there. Johnson in the middle of the ring. He's felt this power. Can he take it? There's no doubt about it. Naz has got him going. Oh, and a right hand catches Naseem right as the bell sounds. A countering right, very similar to the one that Manuel Medina caught him with and knocked his gum shield out with.
That was a hurtful punch right at the end from Johnson, just to warn Hamed that it's not over yet.
Fourth round. How much has Johnson recovered? Naseem started to nail him, and again he gives him that little cocky grin. through the gum shield. Johnson retains his poker face. It's a good left hand as well. And again the legs look wobbly from Johnson. This man has never authentically been stopped, and again they wrestle each other to the floor. There is no knockdown, and Naseem there was doing a little imitation of the way he thinks Johnson's legs are looking.
Johnson's starting to feel the power now, looking unsteady on his legs.
Is this excellent American world champion coming towards the end of his reign? He looks ready to be taken. His legs are betraying him a bit. If Naseem can find another humdinger, you wonder what might happen. Prince Naseem looks like a man who believes he's in control of this, and he may well be right. The punches are coming at Johnson at angles he hadn't really dreamt of, despite all his experience.
Because he's never seen anything like this before, but he's ready to stand and have a fight with Hamed.
There's still big technical errors at times from Prince Naseem. When he does miss, it looks awful, and he does get countered with right hands. But my goodness me, he does pack a punch, and he's so quick, and he hits so hard.
Well, they look technical errors for most fighters, but for Hamed, he gets away with them.
Yes, he almost defies conventional logic. Johnson has been through a dodgy spell, but he's still there. And many times in his reign, he's come through bad moments to prevail, and Prince Naseem Hamed has got to remember that.
It's all gone a little quiet, just again having a little look at each other. It's only Hamed's round.
One or two good judges in the game have suggested that he has been slipping a little of late, Tom Johnson, in recent defences, but he's still the champion, and if Prince Naseem wins this, you will not be able to take it away from him. Good little right hand from Johnson, who must know that he's got to start to change the pattern a little bit, because he must realise that he's falling behind on the scorecards. Again the right hand from Johnson.
Hamed has a little comment for him after Johnson attempted that right hand.
Naseem, who's scored 43 knockdowns in his 24 previous fights. So far he hasn't had Johnson on the floor. Only 3 opponents have managed to stay upright in Naseem's career to date. Remember, Tom Johnson got off the floor against Ava Beleño when we saw him in Newcastle, the Colombian. He was down in the first round and got up to win by stoppage in the last.
Johnson's recovered quite well. He got a little bit of spring back in his legs there, just getting back to some movement.
He's very, very wary of Prince Naseem's power now, and you have to ask the question, what is Johnson going to do to win the fight from here?
Because he's falling behind on points. He's got to try and land some decent punches. He's got to try and hurt Hamed. And a good right hand there from Johnson.
That was one of his best punches of the contest. He's not noted as a huge puncher, Tom Boom Boom Johnson. He's he's not a light hitter. And there he catches Naseem again, who again left himself off balance and knows it. A self-conscious little jig on the spot from Naseem. There's two good right hands from Johnson, who is just maybe rediscovering his confidence.
Isn't just getting the better of this round thus far. Two good right hands. And Hamed not getting close enough to land his own punches.
Well, Prince Naseem has to be careful that he doesn't let Tom Johnson back into the fight. This is a very wily old campaigner, 10 years older than him. And again the right hand. He's got careless in this round. It's been his worst round so far, Prince.
Hamed's just planted his feet, and Johnson has used good movement and just picked Hamed up from distance in a good round. And I think Johnson's round.
Remember, Prince Naseem Hamed has won all his world title fights so far by stoppage. Will he become the first man to authentically stop Tom Boom Boom Johnson? He's only lost twice, the American. I say authentically because there was one against Manuel Medina when he was beaten on a technical decision when the fight was stopped because of cuts in the 9th round, but Medina was ahead. Since then, Johnson beat that same fighter twice.
What's the backhand? What's the backhand?
Just hearing that one or two of the American commentators behind us have scored the last 2 rounds for Johnson. It's a timely reminder that some people, maybe the judges, could be seeing things a little differently. Remember, there are 2 American judges and a Mexican scoring this. That strikes me as a bit odd in a fight between an Englishman and an American to have 2 American judges and an American referee, but there you go.
And that's all right, Hamedian. I still have Hamed 3 points ahead.
Yep, I had him 3 ahead going into this one. But Johnson is finding his way back. I think Barry McGuigan had a good point, didn't he? Naseem has to start picking up the points a bit and not just waiting to try and land an attempted knockout blow.
This Hamed just becoming a little flat-footed. He's got to try and get in range quicker.
You just wonder whether Hamed has just mentally relaxed a little after having Johnson on the run in the 3rd and 4th round. He may have felt he had it in the bag, but Johnson is proving otherwise.
Well, a fighter like Tom Johnson is certainly not one to do that against. You've got to have it all really right. You've got to be very sharp mentally. And Johnson just dancing around, content just to pick Hamed off at distance.
At the moment, he's just outboxing him a little bit. The left hook gets Johnson going again. Oh, here we go. Clubbing right, then a straight right hand as well.
And that was all caused from a little short left hook inside, and again Johnson's hurt.
Bad moments again for the American, who's breathing heavily. Suddenly Naseem has him on the run again. Oh, and the left hand sent Johnson reeling backwards. 3-punch combination from Naseem. He can be a chilling finisher. He's tottering now. Tom Boom Boom Johnson. This time Naseem is looking for the finish, but the bell comes at a very good time for Johnson. Just at a time when you felt that Prince Naseem Hamed was close to the stoppage, but he's in a bad way. 8th round, rising excitement for the sellout crowd at the London Arena down in the Docklands. Is this the round for Prince Naseem Hamed? The 8th round, he found a good left hand there from close in, and another one. And this time, Naz has started the round fast, which will give him a full 3 minutes to maybe force the stoppage. Lovely uppercut as well. It's another very, very good looking left hand from Prince Naseem Naseem, once he gets his man going, like a lot of good fighters, he suddenly switches up about 4 gears in an instant.
This is very difficult for his opponents to get out of the way, because he brings these punches in from all sorts of angles, and it's difficult when a fighter has got everything there, but when he's hurt, he doesn't know where they're coming from.
Well, there's been some sparkling stuff in the last couple of rounds from Prince Naseem. And again, a very hard-looking left hand that might have put a lot of fighters on the floor. He wears those leopard skin trunks, and he's on you with the speed of a big cat at times as well.
And he's really putting power into the right hands now, Hamed.
Oh, he looks in a bad way. Johnson tottering, almost went right hand. He's surely ready to go. In this, the 8th round. Again, he somehow stays on his feet. Huge right hand. The referee thought about stepping in there. There's a cut as well underneath one of the eyes for Johnson, who's all over the place. We are surely only seconds away here. If Naseem can find another big punch like that, a right uppercut. Nobody could have taken that in the 8th round. He'll do very well to get up from this. And will the referee let him go on anyway? No, he will not. Prince Naseem Hamed at the IBF Featherweight Championship of the World to his WBO belt. He is twice a world champion. And again, the finish was electric.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes 27 seconds of round number 8. Our referee in charge, Rudy Battle, stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout. He is still undefeated. He has unified the IBF and WBO Featherweight Championship. He is the world champion, Prince Naseem Hamed.
They've got to realise now that Tom Boom Boom Johnson was a brilliant fighter. I mean, how many times did he defend his title? The Prince, at the age of 22, good-looking boy, came along and take it off him in his 5th defence. And what can I say? You're looking at a legend soon to be. I mean, there's time to prove, but I'm going to prove it, and I'm going to do it and bring it back to Britain, back to Sheffield.
A legend he may be. The outrageous Naz remained unbeaten for 10 more fights until he was beaten by Marco Antonio Barrera in 2001. After 2 stoppage losses late in his career, it looks like Boom Boom Johnson